He has absolutely been smashing it here. He has gone above and beyond what has been expected of him. Meanwhile, if you look across at Scout, in the LPL finals, they were also going against a mid laner that was playing out of his mind, the MVP. And what did Scout do? He also rose to the pressure that was on his shoulders. He played outstanding when he needed to, much better than the rest of the season. So it's going to be a lot around these two already. Couple of bans right there targeted at Scout, at that mid lane, coming from GENG, the LeBlanc, the Twist of Fate, no surprises there. His champ pool has encompassed all of the meta champions.
Yeah, now I'm curious to see, will EDG go with the Rise, which has been left open, which is Scout's other big pick that they know GENG don't really play, or I was actually looking at the Lee Sin to be the next up, but no, instantly wanting to go straight towards that Lucian.
I mean, this feels like a possible Lucian Nami angle. Keep in mind, though, it could obviously be top lane. Flandre has only played Graves and Jace this entire tournament. If you're not going to play Jace, Lucian's kind of next up on the list.
And in LPO, they also had that split pushing game with him playing the Lucian top. So definitely a possibility there. Nami's picked up immediately, though.
Yep.
So as soon as you see that, that is no longer a solo lane.
And I need to see not electrocute on the Nami. You are scrapping in this lane. They are fighting back. Your runes need to actually fight back as champions. I need to see an area or guardian.
And one thing that already jumps out to me, right, is EDG banned away Graves first rotation. Now GENG taking away the Jace. Those are the only two champions Flandre's played at Worlds so far. So Flandre gonna have to pull out something a bit different. He did play the Kennen a few times during the split, so that's always possible. But Flandre is a champion Ocean.
Yeah, I was looking into that too, and he was 0-3 on all of those Kennen games. So I feel like there really is a reason they have not picked Kennen at Worlds thus far here. So it's gonna be, this is the true test, right? On the other side there for Rascal, gonna have to dig a little bit deeper himself. GENG, neither of their top laners have played the Jace, and so they're always the ones forced to ban it. They haven't drawn any bans itself, so there are these puzzle pieces that have been missing from the pick ban for both teams in their top lane.
I'm also surprised that we aren't seeing EDG ban out the Zoe here. Everyone's been hyping up BDD Zoe so far this tournament. EDG, I guess, saying they have an answer if that is the blind pick that GENG want to go towards.
Yeah, it's either that or the Syndra. It's got to be one of the two here for GENG, for him, for the mid lane. They're probably going to just skip and wait to see. Pick top lane first so you can actually get the rebuttal.
So, looking at EDG's playoff run, the only champions Flandre played that aren't already banned are 4 Renekton, 2 Gnar, and an Aurelia. Otherwise, he's playing something he hasn't played not only at Worlds, not only not at the postseason, but like way back when. So we'll see what he wants out of the pool. And though he hasn't put it on stage in a while,
Ooh.
Jax comes through, and I love this as an answer to the Gwen.
Yeah, so this is something that Flandre did play only once in the summer split of LPL. But like I said, Flandre, throughout his career, has played absolutely everything. Back in the day on Snake was known as quite a split push force, so is going to take that, is going to have a favorable matchup. And I'm a bit surprised, Scout coming out with the Orianna, so you do have the ball setup combo there, but going to be a much more passive laning phase coming out from Scout.
Oh,
Yes!
The Seraphine makes it here at Worlds! Oh, Freak, I know you're in love with this pick.
Yes!
You're definitely in love with the supportive mid laners.
Seraphine, I mean, to be clear, I think she should be a bot laner more often than not, but I am happy to see players come out and play the supportive mids. There is a lot of room for just playing enchanters and buffing up a big carry like a Gwen or a Misfortune.
And it does give you so much team fight prowess later in the game. This composition scales in crazy ways for GENG. And when you're looking at this series, a lot of people expecting this entire series to be one of the longer average game times with the way that GENG do like to play, and even how EDG played more in the LPL.
Yeah, the one thing I'm really afraid of for EDG in this sense is the Gwen that Freak just mentioned, right? Because now having a Lulu and a Seraphine as well, the natural sustain that she has in her kit, I feel like we're going to get to a point in this game where the Gwen really will be unkillable.
Meanwhile, I actually love the Jax pick into it. These top laners, both of them kind of missing pieces as far as the champion pools, but now so much actual pressure for the win conditions for both of the teams is put in the hands of those top laners, where traditionally for both these teams, it is about the other side of the map as far as the carries. Nice little opener here to the best of 5.
It's one of the things that happens when you play enchanter supports. Obviously, so much of the reason why we kept seeing Leona and Nautilus and Alistar and such is because they're such good roamers, right? Walk up, land a hook, get a kill that way. Take your level 3 recall, walk top, get a kill. But these are two of the players that have played a lot of enchanters. Mako, 7 out of his 11 games run enchanters. This is now 8 out of 12. This is 5 out of 12 here for life. Like, they're willing to play the less roam heavy, more lane dominant styles, and yet someone's got to get the top lane and tilt that matchup.
The thing I am afraid of for EDG is 3 of their losses have been in Enchanter versus Enchanter matchups in the bottom lane. Enchanters were never really big in the LPL, even when they were big elsewhere, so I definitely think we've seen a bit of not as much comfort coming out from EDG, but both teams looking to posture for a bit of a level 1.
But it's worth noting, Ruler won his world championship in an Enchanter meta. That was when he rose to the occasion. Bot Diff was the name of that final against T1, and it was a bunch of Lulus and Namis and Jannas.
That Flash Varus ultimate, the pick faker towards the end, will always remember that one. And Ruler is the only world champion in this series. See what they do though. First move was to get that vision control towards the bottom side because it is so important for them. Then roaming BDD up through the river.
It's going to be an exciting game, and let us know what's going on here. Verizon 5G, all chat, let us know your well wishes, your thoughts. If you have good puns, they tend to bring them when I'm on cast.
Now, I want to look at a lot of these matchups because it's very interesting since we do have 2 very supportive mid laners here with the Seraphine matchup into the Orion. A lot of farming towards mid. Jungle attention will be drawn to the 2 side angles here, and we'll have to keep track of building on these minion waves. It's so incredibly important, and especially, as you mentioned, the Jax-Gwen matchup. If you can influence this one early and get your scaling top laner ahead, it will have huge, huge ramifications towards the mid stages. If you can get early up there early to the Jax, get the stun onto the Gwen, the setup there is critical. And you notice that Rascal has gone for the Ghost. This is something that a few key personas have actually been really trying to hero and champion the use of the Ghost because of the extremely low cooldown compared to Flash, and when Gwen has so much mobility in the kit already with the dash, should give you the extra range to get away from a lot of the Counter-Strike stuns. And with the extra Ghost, it just gives you more frequency of being able to go for those big plays. So we'll have to keep our eyes on Clid when he gets up there to try and combine on those timings.
It's also just a lot more useful when it comes to team fighting is, Genji's bottom lane getting such a good trade here, especially for when Mako and Viper were hyped up as potentially the best bottom lane coming into the tournament.
Yep.
I feel like, at least in laning phase, Mako and Viper are definitely not living up to what we saw in the LPL.
Got a jungler coming though. And it's going to be time to try to fight on to Ruler. The flash, the exhaust, the autos finally up to it goes off. Decent damage on a Ruler. Is it going to be enough now? Flash to follow. Beautiful by Jeja. The shield comes in again. They get the trade kill. Now Life's got some teammates. Double TP coming in now as well as the junglers show up. Scout going to run back. BDD the same. A 1-for-1. Both AD carries dead.
And they are rewarded for their initiative here. Viper flashes in for the exhaust slow onto Ruler, and they just barely get the first blood money in time. Even though it is answered here, is going to be a decent amount of extra control through the jungle here for Clid, picking up the Scuttle Crab on the way to the top side. They already have the ward there, so should just be traded out. First blood barely cashed in time there, as Viper's the one who takes things into his own hands.
Yeah, really nice ease in straight into the flash with the exhaust. We were talking about EDG's bottom lane not really living up. One person who has it world so far is Jeja. Really nice flash coming out from that to guarantee the knockup, but the damage from Life just being too much at the end of it. Still, I think rather nice that Viper was the one to get the kill on their side compared to Life for GENG.
Exactly. All the money going into the correct place, plus the little bit of extra first blood money, is this small advantage there on the side of EG. And that's what you want when you're Lucian Nami lane. You know, burning the summoner spells down there could provide a repeat opportunity.
Bubble lands, decent damage. Electric goes off now as well, but Life able to shield up most of it. Worth noting, though, that they got pretty much the same recall because Ruler was up 5 CS before the kill came through. They're still both on double longsword, and the lane should still feel close.
Yeah, I think a big thing as well was that the wave was actually pushing towards EDG when all that happened, so Viper was able to at least catch up in CS once he did make his way back to lane. And now we're seeing junglers actually path towards opposite sides of the map. So EDG looking like they want to keep punishing the spot side, to where for Clid, it looks like it's a lot more about covering Rascal in the top lane and knowing, hey, that's who these two enchanters are going to be playing around.
And he's also, Clid is passing over that ward towards Raptor, so they know exactly where Clid is heading for Flandre on the top side, so he can play it accordingly and try and just slowly stay safe over there. Meanwhile, for the jungle too, I want to talk quickly about the flash from the Jarvan EQ. It can be hard to hit those timings, but when you're going for an EQ on a target you know has flash, you are looking the entire time and your mouse placement is already over their escape path for looking, okay, I need to have the exact timing to flash, make sure I still have my knockup animation of traveling within the EQ. And so JJ, big reward there for him to be able to make that happen and actually get that first blood. Well played.
And for EDG, JJ's going to be the one who has to drive forward the early game aggression for EDG. Vedius was pointing out on the AD, but EDG not really a team that, despite their average game time being pretty low, in the first 10 minutes, they are not this action-packed team. A lot of their action and driving the game forward actually comes in the mid-game once we do get things like Rift Herald on the map and Dragon spawning. So for EDG, you can see they're fine leaving Flandre up in the 1v1, not necessarily trying to shut Rascal down, playing through their strong 2v2, and allowing both their soul laners to scale up for later on.
Yeah, it's actually pretty interesting to look at where the path for both these teams is headed with the scaling, you know, solo laners for the top side for sure. Possible split push, you know, whoever gets the advantage there, but also the team fights are a bit different with EDG going hard on Viper!
Just deletes Ruler, and now maybe a counter again because Rascal TP is down. Level 6 in the Gwen. Doesn't have the damage. A good slow comes in for Lulu. Chasing out as much as they can. And he's just dodging away. Not going to fight anymore. Crowd control. Just let level 5 on the Lee Sin does not mean a kill. EDG get away with a clean murder.
Yeah, okay, one drawback of Ghost is you can't flash the bubble. Really well done by Mako there. Lands the peel. This guy has played 7 years on EDG. Critical peel for Viper. That is such a big win in 2 ways. Flandre pushes up on top side. Kept on mentioning the Jax, trying to get some more money into him. Loves it when his opponent actually completes the TP, goes away from his lane, and doesn't get a kill. That coming up hands empty there for Rascal is such a big deal for GENG. Definitely going to put that split pushing advantage in the side of EDG. Dragon picked up on the other side, though, for GENG. They at least get the consolation prize.
Yeah, and I love here that I was just hitting on how I don't feel like we've seen the same lane dominance out from EDG's bot lane that we did see in a lot of LPL games. But here, looks like they're backing off, maybe trying to make them think of recalls coming out and just instantly going for the all-in.
And this is why people have invested so much into Lucian Nami at this tournament. Since those changes, Freak, there's just so much damage loaded into all the buffs and synergies you get with Nami. Nami with the extra damage coming off of Lucian passive now. You can see it there, just walks him down. You got the slow and he's got the extra damage. So we'll see if they're able to use this bottom lane and really leverage it, because so much was talked about Viper with the way that EDG won LPL and how dominant he was going to be here at Worlds. So I like how you're alluding to it, Lyric. We're finally getting to see them flex some of these muscles.
Yeah, and now has an advantage with the pickaxe in lane to keep looking for these strong trades. One thing I want to talk about more holistically is BDD's roaming down, but EDG have a ward, so I think they should be fine. Is when we look at this comp, another thing the analyst just hit on was like the damage share on each team, right? BDD 29% of the team's damage, Rascal only 20%. This time, Rascal and Ruler are going to have to be the ones to step up, BDD taking more of a back seat, to where EDG are still fine to play the way they have been, with Flandre being the main damage dealer.
Yeah, and we have time now to analyze how they're going to work as teams too, because both of these teams have a lot of synergies in Belt and their draft. They're just very different. We've got the obvious Jarvan delivery for Shockwave for Scout, which gives them the initiative and the CC to try and make a Rift Herald play. Mako, though,
just the root. Mako doesn't have a flash, get away. Gonna buy some time with the tidal wave, but waves goodbye. Can you rush down the Herald in time? Answer is going to be yes. There's the smite for Jeja. And that's going to mean more cash money. Keep in mind, 2 plays right in top. Flandre can be snowballed off that.
Yeah, so nice pickup for EDG, but I actually really like the adaptation coming up from GENG as JJ finds a knock up.
Damage Red Spike gonna build him some time though, and Clid gonna chase in for a bit more. The kick flash life finds the execution. Clid, that was beautiful.
Yeah, teammate positioning is so much more important in duels in the river than the 1v1, even with the brush advantage there. Clid doesn't back down because he's got the rest of the squad right behind him. Flash used very effectively to get that kick back and gets the kill.
The one thing that's confusing to me is the fact that, right, JJ was the one looking for that play. He was sitting in Pixie Brush. But you should know GENG have first move because they're the ones who collapsed on Mako and got control of mid wave.
Yeah, sometimes when you've got vision advantage like that and you're playing Jarvan, so much is influenced by being able to hit your EQ. So it feels really good as an individual sometimes to make some of these plays where you know you're going to get that big burst of damage. But again, the positioning of your teammates, being able to see the mid lane there. GENG too close. You can tell JJ, tried to run as soon as he got his damage in, but already too close, and well done by Clid to punish him for it, not let him escape after a little bit of jungle trade ego goes down there. Does have decent amount of ramifications here because a minute and 50 seconds left on the Dragon spawn, and GENG would be extremely happy to set up first there.
I would actually like to see EDG just go for the opposite side of the map, just head up towards top, which is the complete opposite of what JJ is doing right now, pathing towards his bottom side. You do still have that Rift Herald. I mean, 3 plates up on top lane turret, you can probably raise that in just one go, and that even potentially pulls members of GENG up towards the top half of the map, which then allows you to pivot down towards bot and get Dragon set up first.
You've got a big point of power here with Viper already completing the Gale Force. Very, very big point here for the minute away on the Dragon. And then moving down so much ward coverage, you can tell GENG do want to set up for that Dragon. Just littered the river with control wards.
Yeah, we're going to push him yet again. As you can tell, Jarvan is bot side. You called that he was pathing towards this side of the map. Left up his Gromp on his clear, and well, we know if they want to cross map, this Dragon spawns still in a minute. The Scuttle taken to the bottom side will despawn by that point as GENG's duo has recalled away, the ward is shared, and EDG, they could crash for turret plates, but I'm not sure they would even get a turret if they summoned Herald here.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, they're just going to take the opportunity to go through River instead and try and make a little bit of headway here as far as the setup is concerned. Walking over the Scuttle, no concern for the extra timing here. Jax is pushing up on top side too. The teleports are a bit desynced though. Rascals is much further behind than Flandre, so should be a little bit of easier time for EDG to get the opening.
Also, when I look at these compositions, I think GENG's comp can win fights very easily if it's on objective first. Just walking into Seraphine and Lulu is so incredibly hard, to where for EDG, I feel like their composition has more options, whether it's playing through a side lane and bringing Flandre down or just brute forcing their way in.
Yeah, again, the differences are EDG has a bit more priority because they have very clear and instant initiation. Jarvan into Orianna. Age-old combination there, trying to deliver a shockwave onto the back line, onto those primary targets, whereas GENG are completely counter-engaged here with the Seraphine and the Lulu excelling in a lot of these situations, whereas you're saying, Lyric, if you have the setup and you have the positioning there, they can have very devastating counter-engages. Other than that, it has to be a crazy play from Clid.
Well, here's the big play top side. Flandre got his Divine Sunderer. Yes, they're going to Maker, but here comes the summon. They can auto it down to 2 plates. They've even got an Orianna for good measure, and this should always kill the top lane turret as long as they stick around for a few more moments. They'll get the damage, they'll get the turret. They are choosing to cross map. Now, it's worth noting, though, that EDG have bot pressure because they've got the mythic difference in the AD carry.
Exactly, that Gale Force, as we mentioned, going to provide so much more burst damage, and when Lucian Nami can spike really hard at this point, it's hard for them to get anything on the other side. Flandre trying to get that second charge off, but Clid roaming around, sniffing for something. Just in time, Flandre's able to back off too, so EDG passively gaining more.
Yeah, and I'm a bit surprised EDG waited so long to look for the play, but I still think overall it was the right calls. Make your way towards topside, drop that Herald down, and it's gonna pull Clid or BDD or whoever up towards topside to look to cover. So now it pulls him away from Dragon. We already see JJ pathing his way down there, and now EDG can once again JJ group up with Meika, walk into River, start clearing out these wards, and then GENG won't have that setup that really makes their composition such a hard threat to deal with.
And finally, the recalls come through. Misfortune has her own Gale Force. I am reasonably partial to at least some level of crit on the Misfortune. Gonna go in for the play. Double auto. Gets the Q. Gets the oh my word, that is a lot of damage. An execution from Viper's Gale Force. Ruler tried to get away, but Flash was not enough.
Viper came to play today, boys! Oh my goodness! Taking the Lucian Nami to extreme levels here. Gets the flash out of Ruler and the kill down. There's no question on the Dragon now.
Oh, Lee Sin's gonna lay in the Q. Flash not gonna get too much. Oh, there's too much healing. Tidal Wave's gonna hit on a 3, and that might mean a kill. Knock up from Clid. Thank you, Lulu. Barely going to live. Viper's Flash does not get the extra last auto that he needs, and it's going to be a walk away for Clid, but Dragon is here for the taking.
And that was so messy, guys. That was all over the place. I thought Scout was going to go down. Even the EQ from JJ missing the knockup on Clid, but there was just too much healing coming out from the side of EDG. Now they're going to be able to turn to Dragon first and pick up this objective.
For most of this tournament, the early lane stats have been in the favor of Ruler. Almost second in CSD for the early stages at 15, but Viper taking things into his own hands, This is so big for game 1 of the series too, establishing this level of domination with the Lucian Nami and that as priority, forcing so many plays. A lot of these are just individual here from Mako and Viper. Remember, it's not just the aggressive plays they pulled off. They even avoided the teleport down to their lane without giving a death over to the Gwen. So there's just so much pressure in this game being afforded by how well this EDG bottom lane has been playing. Now the question is, can they transition it to those big shockwave plays that they need to actually finish out this game? Because everything else is going according to plan. That Jack's on top side, gaining the advantage for the split push, getting that tower down, giving him the long lane now. They've been able to check all of these early game boxes. But you have to always have that in the back of your head for GENG. What if they stall out? What if they get the dream, you know, Seraphine and Lulu kiting out, can't go down with all the sustained sort of team fight?
The thing I'm looking at is, actually I'm really surprised GENG are gonna opt into contesting this one. Both bot lanes are on the way though, so looks like GENG actually will have a bit of tempo on EDG.
Yeah, GENG would want to buy some time for Seraphine ult to come back up. It's very quick here for BDD, a few more seconds on it, and they're just trying to stall the Rift Herald.
All right, Smites, what we're looking at here. Eye pops, and there we go. It's going to be a reset. Back to full HP. Team's coming around.
Beautiful stall right there from GENG. Now it is back up. They have the ultimate available.
All right, Rask's going to burn his dash over the wall, so we'll be missing one of his steroids if there is a fight to break out. Ruler stepping up pretty confidently. Flashless, but has his ultimate. Be the first for him of the game. Down to 3k health in the Herald. They got to make sure Clit is around for the smite if he wants to go for it. Not going to be claimed here by GENG. Is there a team fight though? As we look to find a stun on the 2. Knock up, not quite going to find. Kick back, hits Mako, and that means Nami falls. Goretrigger keeps Clit alive, and a big charm keeps it a little bit longer, but Shockwave turns one back around. Viper firing freely, finds the second kill. Exhaust traded, fighting Ruler, jumping away, staying alive for a moment. Life flashes, and his life flashed before his eyes as that is Viper dropping. Scout looks for Ruler. Ruler cannot get out. Auto attack, a shield. You gotta get this kill. He's gonna claim it. 1 left alive versus 2.
Yeah, and we see objective going the way of EDG, but that fight coming out from GENG was so nice, especially Clid with the kick. I believe it was on to Flandre into Mako, which locks him in the bullet time, which pretty much sets up for GENG to come out with the advantage from this fight, but still extremely close. Only 1k gold lead for EDG.
Exactly. I was paying so much attention to the Jarvan for the initiation there, but it's Flandre who as soon as the Rift Herald goes down and you see the eye, he's like, I'm getting that eye! Top laners want the Rift Herald activation. He gets the double stun for the counter-strike with that kick onto JJ, as you mentioned, into Mako, and Mako goes down instantly with the Misfortune ultimate. So you get to see BDD tries to peel here inside the pit with just a single on the Seraphine ultimate, but because he only got one and didn't get Viper, a lot of damage done there by Viper and some extra space gained. By dashing over the back of this Baron pit, he forces Life to flash after him to finish up the extra kill, and that means Scout inside the pit here is able to finish off Ruler with no flash, even with the extra shield coming through.
Yeah, and again, I think this shows what GENG's composition is capable of when EDG need to fight them in an enclosed space. Of course, having to jump in for that Rift Herald, so you're jumping into things like the Seraphine ultimate, Lulu being able to ult someone and lock you down, right into Rascal who can pop his W, and so hard to lock him down. But EDG, Viper's still going!
Looking for damage, and Ruler cannot quite kill, but geez, is that a lot of damage from a fed AD carry. Viper on his way up, moving towards Essence Reaver on his next item there as well. BDD would love to stop the Herald, but can't walk back to the eye. And so it will get the charge down. Now that's actually, I believe, top and bot lane tier 2 have both been Herald crashed and are not that hard to kill if they get a second push.
No, but it looks like instead wanting to go for resets with Dragon up in 50 seconds. So come back onto the map, get some vision down towards the bottom side. Both Scout and Flandre have TP, so if they do want to look to answer side waves and set those up, they're completely fine to do so.
And back to your point on who gets to the objective first. It's so hard for GENG to face check because they're the ones that are walking into the possible shockwave combination. You know, Nami Tidal Wave by itself, very unassuming. But when you get to throw it with vision advantage through jungle corridors and you've got a Jarvan Orianna combination, there's a lot of CC that you can actually combine. And GENG, you can tell the priority here on trying to get that setup is huge. Moving in, Clid's actually able to get an advanced ward as well.
So here we go, Dragon number 3 of the game as the gold is close, 2.4 thousand to EDG. Dragons are split, but GENG walking to the pit, double control just to make sure that Trinket Ward can't see anything. But EDG are grouped up, everyone's here, Scout TP'd in, and we get another chance at a 5-on-5.
Be careful for EDG not to funnel up for the big Seraphine ultimate. If you get multiple people hit by that, the Misfortune will destroy you. Need to spread out.
Scout claims the scuttle, bit extra vision, still GENG playing on their controls, but there's one in the brush behind them, so they're still in full vision. EDG know what's going on. Dragon pulled back yet again. Smite still up for both players, 900 apiece. As it is in this year of League of Legends. Dunk comes in, Shockwave on the 2. Lee Sin gets the Gore Drinker, and a spike comes in. Okay, second Dragon for EDG. Flandre kiting back. His dodge zone is down. Rascal would love to keep the chase going. Gets some decent damage. Kick back. Will not kill Viper, but Clid is on the chase. Clid gets the kill. Will he trade his life? Not just yet. BDD's there to support him. Gets the root. Gets a lot done. And now we get the rest of the squad chasing in. Beautifully done. GENG find 2 kills.
And it is BDD who lands the snare onto Viper. The double root right there ensures they can actually kill him. Clid following up with the Q, and that means they transition to Baron Lyric.
Yeah, and out of nowhere, I mean, GENG were kind of slowly looking like they were going to be bled out of this game with the map control that EDG had, but really nice fight coming out from GENG. I also feel like EDG did sacrifice teamfight setup to just be able to take the Dragon.
I like the initiation, you know, the JJ attempt at baiting out the long cooldowns. He goes in with the Cataclysm for the Shockwave play and immediately EQs out, but GENG didn't bite on that. You know, they didn't waste any cooldowns, and holding them, they're able to actually turn it around afterwards. So big rewards for patience here, I feel like, for the team fighting of GENG. And let's look at this, because the entire time they're looking at trying to get one of these double openers for the Shockwave combo. JJ has his eyes on Clid. He EQs back after the Shockwave to get to the Dragon. They burst it down to get their objective, but the response. BDD whiffs the ultimate on Viper, but then lands the snare! And so then it allows Clid to flash in for the play, and they get the guy that has been carrying so hard for EDG right off the bat.
And I think it just goes to show, right, that had EDG, I think, sacrificed some of the setup in the top and bot side wave, gotten there first, it could have been a very different fight. But GENG now are doing such a good job of stalling these out, like you said, not taking the bait. And I think this Baron is a complete game changer, because now they're going to have push with the Baron up minions. Now they're going to be consistently able to get vision and set up. And now it's going to be EDG who are going to have to face check in with things like the Jarvan and the Jax.
I gotta say, I was so worried for BDD and GENG as soon as he whiffs the ultimate, but then being able to land the follow-up snare is just pulling a hat out of nowhere there for him. So now with Baron, this actually empowers the Gwen to be able to split push, which has been an issue with the Jax previously.
All right, well, as we wait to see what GENG can do with their Baron push, we get Cloud9 Enthusiast saying Ruler's quite a few deaths this game. Guess he's not measuring up. Thank you, as always, production, for bringing us the puns anytime I'm casting. I'd say solid 12 out of 12, as I'm American and our rulers go to 12 inches, so fan of that one. Now a fight in the top side. Rascal getting tower done by Flandre, but the sustain is high from a Gwen. Can't get more done just yet.
Still really nice from Flandre to bait out, you know, the ultimate, bait out so many key abilities from the side of GENG, and also making it harder for them to commit to their push when they have to worry about Rascal getting dove in a side lane.
Yeah, it's just a huge item advantage for the split push here for Jax. You know, Flandre did get the extra help to get ahead early, but on Blade of the Ruined King plus Divine Sunder, he's playing into Rascal, who has actually gone for components of Azonia's, which is a lot more for creating space for team fights rather than fighting the split push. So GENG have opted for, yeah, Rascal, you're just gonna try and, you know, hold some of these side lanes, catch the waves, and rely on the team to make that big team fight play. He's got the stopwatch for the activation, then we'll be able to upgrade to Azonia's after it breaks.
All right, we are seeing a Last Whisper build out of Ruler, despite the fact he's only against one set of steel caps. It's not going to be the most efficient compared to a lethality look. Here, that's the way the math works out. If they're going for more than steel caps, you're looking at more of a armor pen kind of style, but it will let him scale on towards 3 and 4 items if it goes much later. It's just not the power spike, but it's a scaling option. Mid lane still under fire, but it's worth pointing out this Red Bull Baron power play, less than the Baron itself. EDG has done a really good job of clearing the waves out, not bleeding a single turret, and in fact, knocking down top. I say that mid lane's gonna die here, but still, the point still stands that it is less than the Baron itself in gold, so EDG has done a good job of playing the map despite being down a Baron buff.
And I think it's because they have such strong components from their early game. Remember the win conditions of the Jax split push as well as the bottom lane domination early. They achieved both of those, so you still get the rewards later into the game. Even though they did lose at the Dragon with Viper going down, they've still been able to return to it, so Jax, Flandre there does get another one.
I also feel like we're seeing something that a lot of us knew to expect when coming into the series, that it could be a bit slower in the mid game. It can just come to Dragon stacking and being all about team fights. So I wouldn't be surprised if we just saw teams keep going back to these compositions, things with the Oriannas, the Jaxes, the scaling on the opposite side for GENG as well.
A lot of looking ahead we were thinking in this series. You know, it's going to be a marathon, not a sprint. Take your time.
Well, we get the next scuttle going down, and guess what? It's going to be Dragon's Soul Point if claimed by EDG. No Baron to crossfire for 2 minutes, and now that they own the River, look for the play early here on a Clid. Force him to jump back to a minion to stay alive. Always has that cooldown available, but it still forces him back a bit farther. Blue Trigger used to spot the brush. Yes, indeed, EDG are camping it, and so Flutter gonna rush this one down. JJ here to help out as well, and EDG can blitz this thing down. GENG could contest pretty soon. They'll kill it first. Will there be a team fight? Looks like that answer is gonna be no.
Yeah, it's so scary again to face check as this team for GENG. They don't have a great one. I guess, you know, with the stopwatch plus the Zonias now, Rascal's got 2 immunities that he can do, so Gwen, that, and W. Quite a few buttons to buy time with.
And now, I mean, we're going to be looking at for the side of EDG, right? Getting to that soul to be their main win condition. For GENG, I think pivot up towards top side, start getting some vision down for when the next Baron does spawn. Then we'll probably see a bit of a Baron dance, and how well EDG can navigate that with the Jax split push, since, of course, Flandre will still be able to win out against Rascal with the item advantage that you hit on earlier. But, yeah. I mean, Zhonya's finally done. You have both summoners up for Rascal. You pretty much have all summoners up on both sides, so if any kind of explosive team fight does break out, I feel like GENG can start to feel pretty good about the power spikes they're hitting.
Still on scaling. 2,000 gold. We had that gold difference last time around, and it turned into a Baron for GENG. That said, we're looking at Dragon's Soul in 4 minutes if EDG continue to have map control. It's been not too bad so far. I have a Fire Cannon coming in for the Lucian next up for the dash double auto. That'll be plenty of damage for a little bit of early single target burst. Flandre towards his third item as well, has had that pickaxe for a while. I assume he's building towards Sterix. And since he's got really no other item slots, he just needs that whole 3,000 gold to finish that item.
Yeah, Flandre is going to try and push this split strategy as hard as EG possibly can, because they know that GENG's sights are set on these late game group up with our double supports for those long team fights where we have so much sustain and crowd control to work with. But the extra leverage coming from Flandre, almost to level 16 on the Jax, teleport ready as well. Swapping him, you can tell, moving up through mid so that he can still switch to the top lane if there is no fight towards mid. He's kind of covering for the possibility here, and yet still being able to divert the attention over towards Baron.
All right, rapid fire cannon in, double auto into ulti. That slow can often make it look pretty decent, but hold on. Gonna push Clid back now as well. Short cooldown as he jumps to a champion. But we are looking for top river control here. Flounder gonna grab the scuttle. And we know that Baron could be rushed down rather quickly by a Jackson illusion. Midway
Viper
being fought over. And BDD's almost out of mana. Now he has Spellbook, and I don't know if he can get to clarity in time to make that look good, but it is EDG controlling mid, and they've got the inside track on mid tier 2. But they're chasing for kills. I'm not sure what they're gonna get. I don't believe they can lock them down. Maybe come back up towards mid now.
The reason they're chasing so much is because they want to take advantage of BDD so low on mana, and you can tell Viper with this build going for the rapid fire cannon. He keeps dashing in aggressively for this extra damage. He's such a confident player in his own movement.
Ooh, snare.
Yeah, but he's so tanky. Keep in mind, he has gotten solo turret for the last...
Oh, Viper! He gets hit!
Huge charm, and Viper just goes down! Oh, that man has been defanged. A kick into the wall. Scout gonna stay alive for now. Clid to be shockwave back. Goes in far. Gordricker on a 3. Staying alive for the moment. Rascal sniping. Can't quite find those. Flandre finally goes down. And yet again, it's GENG finding 2 kills and turning for a Baron.
And BDD, yet again, makes a critical pick for the team. Viper has been so confident in his movement freak, but he does not flash the ulti there. BDD gets a pick, and GENG get a Baron.
And it's crazy because we were questioning if BDD can have the same impact when he is on the supportive champion, but it doesn't matter. He's the one finding the lockdown to set up for the damage coming out of the rest of GENG.
Bubbles, charms, sleeps, stuns. Give this man some crowd control freak, and he's gonna work some magic.
Viper, though, has got to be kicking himself. He is the pick that has turned these fights sour for his team. Once again, you can see him just watch for Scout.
Once again,
great flash ult, tries to dodge, doesn't flash it.
He just ease in, and once again, GENG finding a good opportunity. Gives me flashbacks to the Ezreal game he played the other day, where once he got locked down by RG. Clid finding a great opportunity to get onto Scout, but nice job by EDG to peel back. Clid's still going to be able to get out alive, while on the opposite side of the fight, GENG are taking down Flandre.
Just great awareness there by VDD. They've got the control ward in the Raptor brush, so he flashes right up for it, hits the target, goal achieved, and GENG wearing purple again. Let's see if they can do better on the gold score this time, Freak, for you.
I would say the last Baron went +1 tower to EDG. EDG got top and bot tier 2, and GENG only got mid lane outer.
Big difference this time, though, is the soul coming up for EDG, 20 seconds away. And again, they've got early vision advantage, trying to utilize the control wards here through the river to their advantage. GENG are threatening the push, but EDG, no, we've got the upper hand here. We've got the soul to draw you in.
We're going to take some poke. EDG have more summoners, 4 flashes up to the 2 of GENG, so repositioning could be a huge factor here. Flandre sitting in the wings. JJ, of course, knows he's the primary front line, but now being zoned away. Rascal going for the pushback. Viper getting kicked. Viper flashes and stays alive. Health bar is low. Will be able to dash across the wall. Lee Sin drops, and Viper this time around saved his summoner spells for the right time. This is how you do it. Getting away from the skill shots. Charm is going to miss, and EDG looking for the Dragon Soul. A dunk out of the backline. Gore Drinker and a stopwatch for JJ. Ruler's got nowhere to go. Finally flashes and burns the stopwatch, and that is now Dragon Soul claimed.
And the big thing for EDG was this time they adapted. They realized, hey, our main job is peeling for Viper. GENG thought they saw the angle. Clid and Rascal thinking they have enough burst, but like you said, Freak, Viper this time around using his summoner spells, and the rest of EDG were just there to peel off. The other 3 members of GENG not able to follow off, with Flandre doing a nice job of zoning.
And so once again, a Baron power play that it might look okay in gold, but it's EDG getting more done on the map with a Dragon Soul and a very small gold lead. You have to believe they're the leaders in this game. But once again, look at the focus on Viper, look at him outplay it.
Yeah, they want to try and recreate the success they just previously had, but JJ helps out peeling for him, flashes with the Jarvan EQ. He's able to dash away, uses his own flash to gain space, and then the culling down while they wait out the stopwatches, wait out the timing, pick up their kill onto the Gwen as well. The re-engage doesn't have the immediate follow-up, but eventually get the threat there with the shockwave from the Scout to force the double cooldowns as well.
Also feels like the big point, right, was to Cataclysm them, JJ get out and just be able to secure that dragon for yourself to make sure that you do have soul. So really nice job coming out from EDG.
So we do have a game pause. This is GENG, as I've been informed. Clid sadly spilled water on his desk. Tell me about world-class junglers and spilling water on their keyboards. You know, like, we had Svenskeren a while back, Spillskeren, as he was affectionately known. Now Clid's doing it too. I mean, it's just shameful.
It's always the junglers.
Yeah, it's always the junglers. But I gotta point out, like, because I've had a very critical eye on Viper in this game because, yes, he has been the one who got caught out in the last 2 teamfights they lost. This one was well done. This is the window you get when the jungler doesn't have flash. If Lee Sin has flash, he lands the Q, and he starts the R. Now you're rooted, he flashes behind you, and you don't have counterplay. It's actually just always going to land on you. In this case, though, he had to ward hop because flash was down. That meant you wait for the Q to land, then you dash backwards. That means the kick is sending you sideways, and you're able to survive that fight. You saw him kite that one pretty well. So well done to Viper in that team fight. Yeah, okay, Lee Sin landed Q, but played the rest of it really well.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it goes back to, again, we've seen kind of some ups and downs from Vipers, because even this gives me flashbacks to their series against RNG, where he played the Ezreal in one game and was continuously eing forward and getting caught out. But this time around, again, amazing laning phase coming out from him. Has been a bit more aggressive in the mid game, being a bit more Jackie Love reminisce to people who watch the LPL, but still, such massive damage numbers coming out in this game and solidifying this soul for EDG.
Yeah, and it's one of the big things that we're looking at this GENG composition and wondering if they were going to have to rely on Clid to make some big plays to have initiative. Other than that, I feel like you can't always count on BDD landing these stairs right onto Viper. That should not be the norm for the team. So, woo, that play is going to be incredibly important. No,
Eric's down, Chase, ulti, and he's out of shields. That is a lot of ability power, and now the dunk on the BDD has a flash. Bullet time comes down. Tidal Wave's going to hit there as well, and BDD barely able to slink away. Perfectly timed bubble. Absolutely no way out for Rascal. Teleports to his doom.
These individual picks have determined the game, Lyric.
Yeah, much over and over again. I mean, nice from EDG. Viper spotting the moment to go on Clid. All of EDG's members are there to follow up on Rascal. Doesn't matter that BDD does once again hit another skill shot and actually does lock Viper down because EDG just had more members alive.
So great there from Scout in the side brush. He immediately shockwave on Clid. The follow up there from Viper. And then forcing it through. The teleport timing from Rascal is just a dream for Mako. Easy for him to time that one. You know, it's pretty easy also to aim. You'll always teleport, end up between where you're teleporting and your Nexus, so he's able to hit that bubble no problem, picked up the extra kill, and their reward is destroying so much of this base. Now it's just wide open for the return from EDG.
Yeah, it's crazy that they're only 3K gold apart, and this game has always been close to gold, right? It's always been between 1 and 3,000, but it does feel like for a large majority of it, EDG have had map control. GENG have just done a phenomenal job of finding certain picks that have brought them back in the game, and now when we're at a point where it's 3 minutes until Elder, if you find that one pick in 3 minutes, GENG can win the game.
Yeah, Scout had definitely been doing work. He's the one who started everything on Clid in the river. He's the one, 5-0-2 with 700 gold bounty on his head and death cap completed. He's definitely putting that damage to good use.
I also think it goes to show how versatile Scout is, because Scout is not only a player who can play things like the LeBlancs and the Assassins or the Rise, the Twisted Fates, things that have been banned against him so often, but Scout has shown throughout his whole career, since 2016 summer when he joined EDG, that this man can play absolutely anything.
Exactly. So much time with this organization. He truly is a regime player here for EDG, along with Mako. Both of them careers basically here, besides the substitute time on T1. So much invested by Scout in EDG and in the LPL.
Yeah, but bringing it back, right? I mean, EDG, they won their very first 3 splits in the LPO, and they incorporated back in the Clear Love days, and you know, such a well-known player, but it's the really recent times that have brought them back on top. They hadn't been at Worlds in a while. This is their first ever World Championship semifinal, and it's bringing in the new blood. JJ is the youngest player left at the World Championship. He's 20 as of 4 days ago. Like, the man is, and he's stepping in for Clear Love of all players. And hey, you know what? He was the gank that got first blood. He's been such a big factor making these team fights work, and EDG slinking on their way towards the World Final.
Yeah, and they're going to try and do it by having the vision set up for this Baron, trying to find picks.
Oh, everyone's grouped up. JJ does not go for the flash ulti. I know players who would have went for that play and said, I think my team will follow up, but holds back for now. Baron's still on the plate. I believe every ward in the pit is turned off by control wards, so going to be rushed down now. And again, their damage is so incredibly high. 4-item Lucian. Flounder has a Runekeeper, wants to deal damage. He's going to spot Clid, though. Can they zone him out? Because ward's going to go into the pit. Now they know. Going to get a bit of damage. And Clid, here comes the dunk. He's going to flash back out. BDD locked in place. Does not have a flash. Does not have a stopwatch. Does not have a life anymore. Speaking of him, down to 100 health as well. As it's going to be GENG running away. Do you turn back to Baron, or do you find this kill into Clid?
I feel like for EDG, it's simple solution, just turn back to Baron. Looks like what they're going to do. Flandre can keep just playing keep away. He even sells his flash up and is quite safe.
This is a lot of damage. You can kill him. Oh, the flash to safety for a second, though. Flandre going to have to jump away, going to flash, and he's going to be back up in a second, but he's still zoned away. The jungler, Clid, is not even across the mid lane again. The third Baron of the game is going to go to EDG, the last hope of the LPL.
And the timing of this, there's only 43 seconds left on the Elder Dragon, so Baron empowered recalls. You get to go back, spend your money, grab your control wards before the Elder Dragon comes out. It's perfect timing, 30 seconds to get over there for the setup, and you're going to have super minions moving up mid.
Right, for EDG, it feels like everything's there. You're going to have push, you're going to have vision, you have more items on key members like your Jax up and top side. For GENG, your win condition at this point feels to me is a steal coming out from Clid, or some kind of nice pick if some member of EDG does walk too far forward. No flashes on a ton of members on the side of GENG. Ruler doesn't have flash life. Clid, Rascal didn't have flash at the start of the game, so there's a lot of easy pickings for EDG.
Here we go. Whoever gets this dragon is likely to win the team fight itself. Is it going to be enough to end the game? We'll have to see. Still 2 minutes left on the Baron buff. So EDG not only have Soul, not only have the gold, they get the extra stats from the Baron here as well, as the Dragon goes down to 10k. BDD waiting on the sides. Does have a flash, could get a huge ulti, because Jax is hitting mid, by the way.
Yep, Flandre's in base, and he's at the Nexus turrets. They had to send Rascal back. Can he even cover the Jax? The Nexus turrets are melting, and they're teleporting!
In Scout! They're trying to end it now! Let her leave a man behind! Shockwave's gonna be zone used, but the Nexus will fall! We have seen these fights before, and yet again, the LPL wins the base race! Game 1 goes to EDG!
Love the ending call there from EDG. They utilized Flandre so well this entire game. Split pushing prowess really finds its name in lights here at the end, where he's at the Nexus turrets, even with the Gwen in his face. Counter-Strike burning those things down, and they commit the teleport to finish it off. great opener from EDG.
Yeah, I mean, especially seeing the base race is such a throwback. I do not know how many base races I've seen this year in the LPL because there's just too many to count.
That was not a race. That was literally just them just crashing down the door and Gen G are at the Dragon.
This is the qualifying lap, you know, got pole position, you're ready